All right, welcome back to the devlog. Let's just get right into it, see what we got done today. Um, First thing we worked on is finishing up making those meshes that we need to do. First was these rocks, second was these trees. Um, very different ways of making them in Blender. But as y'all know, not super familiar with Blender. Only been working with it for a few days now, but with that being said, I think they turned out pretty all right, at least for now. Definitely going to go back and update them. They're just placeholder art for right now, but they are definitely what needs to are fulfilling their role as some, just uh, getting the game, built out so that we can do polish later. But a second goal was fixing the tile arrangement. As y'all know, this was just like a random pattern beforehand. Now we've got it set up so that we have our center tile that we can do a lot more with later. But and then looks like 6 rings of just grass tiles um, and then 3 rings of forest tiles. On top of that, we got the last thing was actually getting these tiles to spawn these objects on top of them. So these have the rocks, and you can see that there's a random amount that spawn. They can spawn up to 3, but we didn't get any on this run. Um, and then all these forest tiles have, obviously a tree on them, with some adjustments to make them not look, like that one episode in Toy Story with all the Buzz Lightyears looking exactly the same. But I think it all turned out pretty good. Very productive day. Um, there's a lot of just organizing going on within the code itself to make all this possible. Like I had to make like 2 different um, like 3 or 4 different sub functions to get this creation to get the tiles to spawn out in the proper order and have the correct inputs, and then as well as um, I had to make uh, several different layers of the let's just say the object to get the objects on the tiles and looking good and making sure that they spawn them correctly and giving me room to work with them in the editor before actually spawning them all out, because this is this is all generated at runtime. Um, so I have to have separate tools for looking at how these are going to look after runtime. Like looking at them in the editor and then actually hitting play and then seeing how they turn out. Um, Another thing is my Trello board. I reorganized it. I separated out um, the currently doing tab into just 3 um, goal tabs. These are all daily goals. Our minimum, our target, and our stretch goal. You know, this is for like on a really busy day, I need to at least get the minimum goal completed. The target goal is something I should be proud of, but wasn't necessarily the biggest goal. And our excellent goals, definitely giving ourselves a pat on the back for. I didn't quite reach this one. There was one more asset I needed to get to spawn on the tile, but it was getting pretty late in the day, and so I needed to make this video. Um, but they're supposed to be bushes, and those haven't spawned, aren't. I haven't implemented those yet. I have the asset already made, the mesh, but they don't spawn. So only got these 2 done, but I still got pretty close to this stretch goal. So I'm pretty proud of that. And I just think this is a better way of organizing the the project. Because as y'all know, this devlog is really supposed to be helping me stay motivated, stay organized, and making sure that I'm pushing towards getting this project done. Um, but yeah, just a little sneak peek into what we're going to be doing tomorrow. As I mentioned, we got to get that um, those bushes to spawn, which shouldn't be too difficult. It's going to be relatively similar to how the rocks look. Um, they're going to spawn, and I just have to implement a way of getting a tile to spawn, have the option to spawn 2 different things and not just one thing. And then also, I think these trees, I'm probably going to make them bigger. I don't really like the size of them. Um, or I think I'll probably, but I don't think they can be bigger and be one per tile. So what I'm going to have to do is not only edit the mesh itself in the way that it spawns, because I think I want them to spawn on intersections um, instead of on uh, a tile, the center of the tile. They should be spawning on the intersection above three tiles, and then I also have to check to make sure that they don't share an edge. So like if there's one right here, there can't be one right here. They have to be at least two edges apart. Kind of like Catan. I don't know if y'all played that game or not, but that's going to take an entire, separate, um, like way of looking at tiles and when they're spawned. Um, the way I have them spawning, for those of y'all who are interested, like the algorithm, um, whenever they're currently spawning in rings, um, and then I have like a calculate, like a function that figures out what the index of the tile will be based on what the index of the tiles that are going to be in each ring, um, and then if it's between the necessary indexes, it changes. Um, this is not the only spawning pattern I'll have to make. I've already made like I think there's a total of four spawning patterns, but this is a good one for now, or at least for this first area. It's an excellent one because it does exactly what I need it to do. And so it spawns. This tile is spawned separately, but the rest are spawned in rings. The math just doesn't work right for hexagon grids. Whenever there's one, um, because like if you look at this is 6 tiles, this is 12 tiles, and then the ring around it is 18 tiles. But if you go, 18, 12, 6, it seems like this should be 0, but it's not, it's 1. So the math doesn't work for that. But anyway, so after these rings, then it has the rings out here that spawn. But what I'm going to have to do is, instead of every tile spawning one, it's going to have some math that like checks to see what tiles are next to it, whether or not to have so to find an intersection between three forest tiles. Then it has to make sure that a there's not already uh, a tree right on the edge next to it. So that's going to have to be like a whole algorithm in and of itself that figures that out. And then obviously I'm going to have to get those sized up properly. Um, but yeah, and then oh yeah, and then after that we should be good to start working on some UI stuff because I'm going to have to get the inventory set up next, I think. So just to be able to hold items. So then once I can hold items, I can start picking items up and actually putting them in my inventory. But for right now, so that's what tomorrow's going to look like. Probably won't get all that done, but um, we have our steps planned out for us. So I hope y'all are looking forward to that. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what y'all are interested, what y'all like to hear, if y'all have questions or suggestions, I would love to hear it. But yeah, just let me know. All right, that's everything. Gonna let y'all go.